another episode of the Hollywood Critics Association Longbox, where we make the connection between the movies and television series and the comic books. And I'm Tessa Smith. You can find me everywhere at Mama's Geeky and at mamasgeeky.com. I'm joined by my lovely co-host.
I'm Jonita Davis. You can find me everywhere at Jonita L. Davis or The Black Cape.
Yes. So, okay. Listen, we have so much to talk about because
there's a lot.
There's been a lot of new DC. Their shows, they're coming back. We've got Stargirl, we've got Titans. If you guys missed last week, you guys, come on. We had Curran Walters, a.k.a. Jason Todd, a.k.a. Robin, a.k.a. Red Hood. He's brilliant in this season so far, you guys. Oh, my gosh.
And he's a comics nerd. Yeah, he's a comics nerd. Yeah, big one.
He did all his research. He had, like, stacks of Red Hood comics. Listen, if you missed that, check out last week's episode because he was on here for 30 minutes talking about us. And he's incredible. But
cool.
So just let's stay with Titans. The first 3 episodes dropped on HBO Max on Thursday. The next one is coming up. There's only one this week, unfortunately. I think it's weekly from here on out until episode, I believe, 13. But dropping on HBO Max at 3 a.m. Eastern time. So I had already seen it when we talked to Curran. You had it. So I'm curious, what are your thoughts on the first 3 episodes?
So they're mixing stories. Like, it's not just, like they're mixing, like, I thought, okay, they're going to go either with this version or that version. And no, they're going with both of them. Like, let's do it all.
Let's do it.
Throw it all in there. So I kind of like that, looking for parts that I kind of recognized. And then, you were right, the way that he acted, he's really great in this.
He's so good. Episode 3, just to jump full on straight ahead. Sorry, guys. And by the way, warning, there will be spoilers if you haven't already watched. But episode 3, when he's crying on the phone with Hank, but like totally just tricking him. He's on the ground. This isn't me. I don't know what's happening. Like, he's so good. And then to just go back into that cold, calculated, like, I'm just going to install a bomb in your chest and kill you. Like, what? He's so good, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. I didn't think he was going to go through with it. I didn't think he was going to do it. I didn't. Up until the last second, I'm like, nah, it's not going to happen.
If you go watch my reaction on my channel, I feel like such an idiot because I'm like, he's not going to die. This isn't even going to happen. And then all of a sudden he does it. I'm like, oh, they did it. They went there.
Yeah, they went there. They went all the way there. So it's like, oh my God. So it's like, how deep down this tunnel are you going to go? And you really, they made him to where he doesn't feel all the way like a villain. Yeah. I mean, like, if you listen to him hard enough, you can be convinced, like, hey, dude, you've got a point there.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, no, hang on. Don't listen to the evil man. No.
Right.
But if you listen to him, it's like, you're pretty damn convincing, I mean, it may just be me, but,
No, but that's the thing about villains. That's why I love a good villain. We've had this conversation many a times. I'm a massive fan of villains. But what I like about a villain, I like when they're a little crazy. I like when they're super brutal. I like when they think they're in the right. And most villains do. Most of them aren't doing something just to be crazy. They're like, no, this is right. Like the way the Titans treated him. And an episode, a little sneak thing in episode 5, you get a lot more background on how he became the transition here. So, which I love that stuff, right? So stay tuned for episode 5. That one's really good. They kind of give you that, like, oh, this is what happened, right? This is the process leading from Robin to Red Hood, okay?
So I gotta wait till next week?
It's not even this week, it's next week, I know.
Oh, darn.
I know. Well, this one, you gotta deal with the repercussions of Hank, right? Listen, I'm curious your thoughts, like, because in watching the 3rd episode, I was like, oh, Dawn is gonna, like, be so hard on herself and feel like this is her, but in my opinion, I'm like, well, it kind of is her fault. Like, superhero 101, don't listen to the supervillain who's telling you to pull the trigger. Obviously, he doesn't want you to really kill him. Like, it's a test. Hello, figure it out. I was like yelling at my screen.
Well, and then Joker, this is after Joker has already done his, messing around with Barbara and Batman. So what he says about, any bad day can turn somebody into something evil. So she just proved that
Yeah.
You can, that, there's something that can turn even the best superheroes evil. You just proved that.
Yeah.
Why? I was like, that's what I was saying. I was like, okay, you're just going to prove him right. Stop. Because, I mean, I don't even think that Hank would want to even, I don't, you know what? I just think that, first of all, it was cruel to make her responsible for that.
It was so cruel, but it was so villainous, right? Like,
it was so cruel, but it was so good.
That's so exactly. It's the writing.
I don't want to say it, but it's so good.
It's good. It makes sense story-wise. Like, it's actually a really good turning point for her. Where's her story going to go in the future? I mean, she's got to blame herself. Like, I was blaming her. So, I mean,
the guilt.
It's her fault. And they were this close. Oh, man, Connor came running in. They were this close to saving him, like, half a second. Probably.
Yeah. The whole squad is going to be, like, blaming themselves. Mm-hmm. And I'm interested to see what the heck they did to Jason. Like, what did you do to the boy? What did you do to the man to make him like this? Y'all were his squad. What did y'all do to him? Listen. I mean, this is more than just having a beach day without telling him. Y'all did something else. So, and in that's another part where it's like, okay, I wonder which story they're going to go with.
Right.
So, I like the fact that we don't know.
Right.
That we're uncertain.
Because they're already mixing a few, like you said. So you don't know, is it going to be a combination? Are they just going to go full on something that's not in the comics? Like,
I'm thinking we're going to get something. The way it's looking, I think we're going to get as much as that's in the comics, I think, right now. I feel like they're going to spin off and do their own thing, like, after this.
Yeah, like, take little bits and then just kind of do their own thing. I always appreciate when a series or a movie goes a little bit original, because I like going in and not knowing what's going to happen. And I feel like when you've read the comics, you're like, oh, and not to say it's not going to be great to see it on the screen, but you just feel like you already know that suspense isn't there. It's not as intense because you're like, oh, well, they're just going to do this. So the fact that they're taking different storylines and they're kind of changing things around makes it refreshing, I guess. Is that the right word?
Yeah. And I know there are a lot of people out there who just want to see the story that they know on the screen. But guys, we know that story. We already read that one. Why do we want to see it on the screen?
Right.
Let's see something different.
Exactly.
And, this is my little professor cap on. Whenever you translate, because that's what it is, translating comics to the screen, it's a whole different language. It's a whole different, it's a different medium. So that's what it is. It's translation. And like translation, if you ever watch dubbed videos or, videos that, or movies, like if you watch Netflix, when you're watching a movie that it's dubbed, but they got the captions, you put the captions up, it's not always the same.
It's not always the same. I know.
And so you cannot, there are some things that don't translate at all because they don't work on screen. They just don't. And so it's never going to be the same all the way through. That's why I think the variation is great, because you're never going to get a word for word, because it's not possible. Right. It's never possible.
I've had that before where I've been watching stuff and it's dubbed and then I've got the captions on and I'm like, that's not even the same thing that they just said.
But the thing is, they can't put you got the voice actor doing it one way, because saying it the way it's on screen is kind of, it's duller and it doesn't flow is better in the dialogue.
Right.
And it's not authentic. So when you got people like these accents, or you got, dialects, and you've got slang, it doesn't translate as well. And so they've got the, standard English version, while somebody's like taking the slang. Yeah.
Now, what did you think of Scarecrow in this? Because again, I love a good villain, and I think he's hilarious. I love how he's like, can spend like 20 minutes talking about marijuana. Like, I find that hilarious. He's just like, did you bring this one? Did you bring that? Like, and he's got like his bong and he's smoking. And I love that because that feels very Scarecrow to me, because he deals with that sort of thing. And, but this actor has impressed me, I've got to say, because I wasn't sure about him as Scarecrow, but I think he gives that manipulative vibe immediately.
Yeah. I like him better Now, what do you feel between him and the Gotham Scarecrow? Is it Gotham that has Scarecrow? Yeah.
I think I did like the Gotham Scarecrow, but I think I like him better. I think I like this version better.
That's me. Yeah, I like this one better because the Gotham Scarecrow was just too stiff and serious. He was good.
Yes.
But when you see the humor injected, and this guy is like
the sarcasm, and
he doesn't take himself as serious as the one that in Gotham, and I think that's a big difference. Makes a big difference. I agree. So I like him better. I like him better.
I really like him. I think he's a lot of fun, and just the way he. I was about to say something that happens in the next episode, so I'm not. But the next episode we get, I think, a few moments of him that really shine. And I really like, again, his manipulative, the language he uses, but then he sticks jokes in there, and he's always poking. Always poking. Everything he says, he's trying to poke and evoke an emotion or push someone down a different road. And that's his, like being a doctor, right? A psychiatrist, like that's him knowing how to poke people and how to do that. And I think it works really well in this show. I really like it a lot.
Yeah, and I think in Gotham, I kind of wanted that guy who was always like on the trigger button. He never let up. And I think in Gotham that you had all this other politics and stuff going on that was going on. This guy, none of that background stuff, none of this. We don't see him connected in the same ways, which seemed to kind of restrict the Gotham character, I think.
Yes, that's a great way to put it. Yeah.
And then, so this guy, he keeps his thumb on the trigger. Whatever your trigger is, if he finds it, his thumb is on it all the time, and he doesn't let up. And I love that. I think he's closer to the comic one. Yeah. I'm still like thumbing through my comics to like get a better idea, but to remember because, I don't have the encyclopedia brain like a lot of people do. So but I think he's closer to the comics. Too. So
I'm enjoying him, and I like that we're getting a couple of villains this season, and they're so good because if you have a villain that just doesn't work, it can ruin the whole season. You know what I mean?
It can. Because it's like, okay, why are we even allowing this dude any screen time? You snooze through it, and then the villain kind of helps drive the plot along too. So. If your villain is kind of meh, then...
Right.
And I think that's what the first season, I think that dragged a little bit in the beginning. Yeah.
A lot of stuff drags in the beginning, but I will say, so speaking of previous seasons, something that I've not been a fan of, sometimes there's some dialogue and some writing that you're just like, really? Did they went there? Like, really? There's two in particular, but one in particular, I think it was in episode 1 that I was like, are you kidding me? Starfire, when she's like, I know. I'm hot. I was like, really? That's your tagline after you, like, I don't know. It kind of bothered me because I was like, she's not going to say that in a fight. And if she does, like, really? That's what she's going to say? I don't know. But I feel like the writing is definitely getting better, but there's still some stuff that you're like,
Starfire's an alien. She would not even be concerned with that. You know? Exactly. She wouldn't care. She'd be more, she wouldn't even care. I think they have her a little bit too conceited and full of herself, and it's like, okay, she's an alien, so she would think she's superior, but not superior snobby.
Right.
Superior intelligence. Right. Or a superior evolved. So if she was going to say something about, looking hot, she probably would say something about how they are primitively dressed or something like that.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, I'm hot.
I know. I was like, what? And then there was one point where Hawk and Dove were fighting someone, and they had this whole conversation about, like, dude, were you always such an a-hole or whatever? And it's like, just fight. Like, why are you throwing in these stupid lines? Like, just fight. Like, it's in the middle of fighting. They're fighting these guys, and it's like, what are you doing? This is
not a frat, okay? We don't need it.
Exactly. But I enjoy
Titans go to college.
Titans go to college. I like that. I'm enjoying the fighting choreography. I feel like they've definitely stepped it up, and there's been some really good fights. And then I really enjoyed, I think it's the very end of episode 2, just between Red Hood and Nightwing, right before, or right as really he gets revealed as Jason. I love that scene. I thought that fight was great, and I really enjoyed Nightwing's reaction, Dick Grayson's reaction, right? He was kind of just like, oh, like, wait, Jason? And then, like, he doesn't want to fight him anymore, of course, because he's realizing it's Jason. And when Jason's just like, it's Red Hood now, I was like, ooh, you gave me chills.
Yeah.
Like,
and you're sitting there like, stop, don't stop. Go.
Right. I know. Like, he's still a bad guy.
He's
like,
going to come at you. Right. He's going to come for you. Don't stop.
Right.
Protect yourself, dude.
I know. But I enjoyed I like the dynamic between the two of them, you know, because Jason, I think, has always felt like I don't want to say shadow of him, but felt like he's in his shadow, right? Felt like Dick, like Bruce loved Dick more than him. And so I like the dynamic, and
definitely.
I think that it's really, really good. I'm excited to see more between the two of them later on in this season, because, you know, that's going to be the culmination of everything. It's going to be, I've seen a lot of people speculating they think Red Hood or Jason is going to end up back with the Titans going after Scarecrow. I don't know. But I'm seeing a lot of speculation of that. I'm sure eventually he's going to make his way back to Robin, right? That's what happens in the comics, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, he does. I'm looking at the writer list, and man,
What?
it's just a lot of dudes on this.
Well, maybe that's why she's stuck with how she's at.
I mean, sorry, I got stuck on that. I was like, let me just look and see. There's a lot of dudes in this writer's room. It's not very diverse, so that says a lot. Anyways, yeah, I just to me it seems like, you know, back to the dueling Robins. Yeah. Like two brothers, siblings. Yes. Yeah, I like that dynamic.
It is. Except
they want to kill each other. You know, one wants to kill the other.
Right. I mean, that's usually the case. It's just not actually really kill. It's more like, I'm going to kill you. Not
but
like,
he does,
I'm going to kill you.
Yeah. But Jason does have to make his way back to Robin.
I think I don't know if it'll be this season, though. I kind of hope they drag this out, because I'm loving Red Hood. Mm-hmm. But that's me just being selfish and loving Red Hood. Like,
I don't know if he's blowing up his the Titans like this early. I don't know how long he can last, man.
That's true.
I'm
I couldn't believe that they really actually
days are numbered, dude.
I did not think they were going to actually.
I didn't think they were going to either. I still have to say that. I still thought until the last second, and even afterwards, it's like, okay, that didn't really happen.
I'm glad they did it, though. I will say, I think it's important in the development of the story. Someone commented on my reaction and said that the actor got a lead role in like an Amazon Prime show, and that's why they got rid of him. But I just thought it was very interesting, because I really didn't think they were going to go there. And then when they did, I was like, oh, it just shows how freaking brutal Red Hood is. And that's what I love.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you got to get rid of somebody, that's a good way to do it. That's a really good way to do it.
I mean, listen, it was crazy, because I'm telling you, I'm watching it, and like you said the same thing. I'm going, he's not going to die. Like, of course, they're going to come down to the last second. He's going to get saved by, and then they blow him up, and you're like, he didn't just kill him. Like, they literally exploded him from the inside.
So he's going to come back, right? He's going to come back. No, he doesn't come back. He does not come back. Spoiler. But you're sitting there like, okay, they switched him out. Something happened. Yeah. Y'all, don't do this to me.
No theories. Don't theorize. You'll just be disappointed.
You will be. You will be. Oh my goodness, you will be. So yeah, it is crazy. This is the Titans. I think that I think that the viewership. I don't know numbers yet, but I'm hoping viewership was up, because this was really good. This is the Titans that they need to keep going with.
Yeah. I think I've seen a lot of buzz about it online, so that makes me think that a lot of people are watching.
Okay. Yeah, me too. In the past seasons, you really didn't see much.
Right. That's the thing. People didn't really talk about it in the previous seasons. And now people are talking about it, and oh my gosh, and Red Hood this and that, and you know, like we talked to Karin last week, and it's so very clear that he did his research, and I think that's why he's playing him so well. Like he he had stacks of comics, you asked him about it, and he's like, oh, these,
Yeah.
like,
yeah. He
so,
even had the older ones, so yeah, he's done his work. Somebody told me, well, they're all the graphic novel versions, so he just bought that for the thing. I'm like, you don't. I think he's the type of guy that probably has single issues somewhere. Okay, come on now, stop.
I do that to myself. Are you kidding me? Like, if something's coming up and I want to read it again, like for example, Secret Invasion is going to be coming up. I have every single issue of Secret Invasion. You think I'm going to pull them out
behind me?
Yeah, it's way easier to just buy that.
They're everywhere.
Yeah,
they're easier to. It's easier to get them and read them that way.
Yeah,
especially when you got I've got just in that row, just graphic novels.
Yeah,
they're
I'm
easier
not
to read.
digging out all the issues. Do you know how much of a pain that is? I'm not trying to do that. I'd rather buy a book and read it through that way to research stuff again and read through stuff again.
Yeah, and I put sticky notes and stuff in mine.
Yeah, well, there you go.
So that there's that too. So yeah, I'm dismissing that. He's doing research. Of course, he's not going to use single issues. Are you crazy?
That would be silly because he needs to see the whole arc come on. Hello. Right. He's being smart about it.
Right. So I have Hank is going to be Reacher. Jack Reacher.
Oh, okay. All right, there you go.
That's his next project up.
So that makes sense.
That makes sense. And they're finally going to get a big guy who's tall for Jack Reacher. So I really like that part. Yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with the stories, but
a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little. But I'll have to do more research.
I've read a lot of the books, a lot of the Jack Reacher books. There's a really good book series. But the guy is massive and tall. And when they had Tom Cruise as him,
he's not that.
Every once in a while, you look at him funny. And this, so having Hank or what's Alan Richson as Reacher is going to work. So yeah, that's
interesting. Okay, so there you go. That's his next project. So I'm excited to check that out.
Yeah. It's a good sacrifice.
Plus, there's so many Titans. You can lose one or two of them, and you can bring other people in too. Listen, it's but here's the thing. But if you're gonna kill one of them, make it for a good reason. And it's not only driving Jason's story forward; it's gonna drive Dawn's story forward, and all the Titans as a whole. For them to literally pretty much have one of their own, Jason. He may not technically be a Titan right in the moment, but he was, right? To have one of their own kill one of their own is huge. That's going to have serious repercussions down the line. Yeah,
that's some family stuff that they've got to really dig into because...
even if he becomes Robin again, how are you going to trust him? There's going to be something there always. I feel for me, I'd be but you killed my friend. Yeah, sure, you're my friend, but you killed my friend. There's something...
It's going to be Thanksgiving is going to be really hard this year.
Interesting. Now, I have a question for you, thinking back to stuff. So, first of all, first scene, we see Joker just absolutely destroy Robin, which I loved. I thought that was great. I like that we didn't see his face and we just get his pant legs and his shoes as he's beating him. I loved that. I thought the cinematography on that was great. I really enjoyed that.
I appreciated that because of the controversy with the Suicide Squad. Listen, we did not need to see Joker.
We're good.
Anything.
We got just what we needed.
Just don't bring it up. Don't talk about it. Walk away. Walk away.
But do you think I've had a lot of people tell me, and I haven't decided yet, but I've had a lot of people say they don't think Batman actually killed the Joker. I think he did. I feel that's why he left. Bruce was I crossed the line. I'm gone. Be a better Batman than me. I don't know. Do you have a opinion on that?
I don't know. Depends on what story you go with. He didn't. Right.
Okay, there you go. Because that's the thing. Again, are they going to take from a comic or are they make their own?
Joker never dies. See that I'm from the school of thought that Joker never dies and he always lies. So we don't know where he came from because you can't trust his family origin stories.
Right.
There's several.
That's true.
And every time you think he's dead, he's not. So Joker never dies. And Joker always lies. I said never lies. He always lies, and he never dies. So, yeah, Joker's not dead. And he's not. I don't think he is.
You don't think he is?
No, I never think he is, because he's always pops back up. He's always like,
you think Bruce
I'm here.
Thinks he killed him, though?
Oh, yeah. Bruce always... And Bruce has thought he killed Joker several times. Like, seriously, you think he would have gotten over this in therapy already. And, talk to his therapist, and his therapist was able to tell him, okay, Bruce, remember last time? And we went through all this, and then it turns out he wasn't dead, so why don't you just wait and see? I wish somebody would, like, say that to him, and then we can, like, save this trip, but, he's Batman. He's got to doom and gloom over something, right?
Yeah, that's true. He does. Who else haven't we talked about? Oh, Gar, Beast Boy. I'm waiting for him to turn into something that's not a green tiger. And at least we see him, kind of doing research on other animals. Yes. Hopefully this is the season we see him become something else, right?
Why is he the one that's not evolved yet?
I don't get it, because he has such potential. Like, he has some really cool stuff. Is it the budget? Is it just... we can only pull off a tiger in CGI, so let's just do that? Like, what is the reason behind it?
I don't know, but I want something better for him. I do.
Hopefully soon. What else? I'm trying to think of what was in... this is the problem when you've seen 6 episodes, is I'm like, I don't want to spew something that's later on, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We saw Starfire she's starting to, she zones out a little bit, right? We see that early on. Something happens to her, and she gets, but we haven't really dived into it yet. I think it's only happened once or twice in the first 3 episodes. But
okay.
So she does that whole thing where, like, if she's not her, something happens, and the thing. Mm-hmm. So, has that happened in the comics at all? Do you know?
I'm not sure. She's weird. She's a weird one in the comics. She's a weird one, and so she's not one that I follow all that much. But
yeah.
I'll have to see. I don't know what exactly is going on with her, because sometimes she seems like an alien. Sometimes she seems like, a 20-something black girl trying to be trendy. And then sometimes she seems like she's not the best written character. Something else. Yeah. I don't think they know how to write her.
Yeah, she's too...
I will say that.
And I love the actress. I think
Anna Diop is phenomenal. Yeah. But I think the dudes in the writer's room don't know how to write her. You need to get a black woman in there, So, because
you're free.
You really, go ahead. There's time. I mean, I can make the time.
Right? Exactly.
But I think that they need to find her lane. I think that's the problem. They need to find her lane. Pick, what do you want her to be? If you want her to be this cold, calculating person that we saw in season 1, stick to that.
Right.
But if you're trying to make her into this, she's assimilating into, American culture, okay, I don't like that. But if you're going somewhere with that,
but then stick with
do that. Yeah. Because she is an alien, She's an alien. Don't go back and forth. It just seems like you're just making her look crazy. Stop making her look crazy.
It's true. And then, so now we've got this one guy who I think he's in one episode of it's got to be season 2. The guy that she talks to on the phone here. He was like a throwaway character. And now he's helping her, and they're talking on the phone. And
I was wondering, are we trying to give her a love interest? Really?
Well, I think they kissed last season, but it was a brief...
Yeah,
she was drunk in Vegas or something, right? Yeah. Wasn't it something like that?
Mm-hmm. And I didn't think it would mature into anything because you had that.
Right.
I thought it would, but are they trying to give her a boyfriend?
I don't know.
And if so, I'm kind of offended by that, because I'm like, no, that's not Starfire. Pick one of the other girls to do that with, not her. She's not the one.
It's interesting. Although, it seems like he's chasing her, and she's kind of calling him for psychiatric help. She's like, okay, but I'm having these blackouts, and he's like, okay, but call me. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and see, that's the thing too.
That's how it's gonna go.
Maybe, I don't know, but that's the thing too. She's like this alien superior being. Why would she be calling a human for her?
Listen.
Now I can see her being drawn to him, almost like a Lucifer type of thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, nobody else, I can't talk to anybody else about this. I can only talk to you. I need to hear my voice say this so that I can figure out what the problem is with me. You
Right,
just
right.
shut up and sit there and don't do anything.
Let me talk it out.
Yeah, but then he's asking advice. So, I thought it was, I'm hoping they get around to that dynamic that seems more real.
Yeah.
Than her being helpless. She's never helpless.
I know. It's weird. It is weird.
It feels like they're weakening
helpless.
the character. I don't like seeing her weak and helpless because it's not her.
I know. It's weird.
She's not the one for that.
I'm not a fan. And then
Dude's a Raven, man.
I was just gonna say she's not even around. They kind of mention, what does Beast Boy say? Like, oh, she's on an island trying to bring Donna back. The end, like just kind of pushing aside, like that's where she is. I'm sure she'll be back this season.
Yeah. She has to.
She has to.
But it's like all that stuff you're trying to push on Starfire. Raven's right there. She's standing right there. She's not doing anything.
Right. She's literally not doing anything. She's not in these episodes. So you can
talk about somebody with psychological problems,
Right. I mean, her dad's like,
right.
Listen.
Raven's right there.
A whole season on that.
Raven could have her whole show. I mean, Raven's already broke down. She's already weak. She's already, she's building her strength back. Mm-hmm. And she's got that whole arc. She's the one that needs a therapist. Starfire's fine.
Yep.
I don't know why they're trying to make it just seems like they're trying to make Starfire something she's not.
No,
and they're trying to humanize her, and it's making her weak. And it's like, she's not that character.
She's the worst written character on the show for sure, and because it feels like they don't know what to do with her. They keep putting her in these different roles, and they're not. Like,
she's still Starfire, but we're gonna take her to Vegas and get her drunk. What?
I know. You're like, okay, no.
Yeah, you have Anna Diop. Anna Diop is phenomenal. You have a phenomenal actress who, if you give her the stuff, she knows what to do with it.
She's trying her hardest.
She is. Give her the stuff. Give her the right stuff. She can run with it. She can do whatever you need her to do. I mean, listen, it's not hard. I mean, writers, if you're listening, it's not hard. I can talk to me, okay?
Right. Because she can consult for you. Okay?
Yeah. I mean, the black girl on the show does not need to be this torn up,
It's crazy, yeah.
Yeah, and we know they know how to write a character because look at Red Hood. Robin, Jason Todd. You got 3 personalities and 1 person, and it all comes out.
Yeah,
why can't you do this
huge
with her?
Props to Curran too, though. Like for him to be able to play a character like that, he's doing a fantastic job.
He is, but his dialogue. I mean,
his dialogue's really good this season.
It is, but they write him very well.
Yeah.
So it's like give her the same courtesy.
Yep.
That's I think that's my only gripe with the show right now.
Right now, yeah, because this season is really good. And like I said, I want to see Beast Boy actually be Beast Boy, not Tiger Boy. I'd like other things to come out. But again, is that a budget thing? Is it we want to make sure it looks good when we do it thing, which I will appreciate. If you're like, hey, we want to make him look like this, but the CGI is awful, so we're just sticking with the tiger. I can appreciate that. Thank you for not giving us trash. But,
right.
At the same time, I want to see more. Hopefully, eventually, I mean, we saw him sitting there on the laptop researching animals, so I'm hoping this season we get something else. Dick Grayson, I'm loving this season. I think it's really smart him taking over as not Batman, but Batman. I mean, literally Bruce leaving saying, be a better Batman.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge. And now he feels this responsibility for Jason, and he's trying to figure out what to do here. But now, of course, Hank just died, so how's he going to move forward? I think he's very well written this season as well.
Because I'm telling you, he's going to feel like he's the cause of Hank, not Dove. So I think everybody's gonna be blaming everybody themselves. It's gonna be like, no, I did it. No, it was on me. No, I did it. No, it was on me. It's gonna be a lot of that going on.
It was though. Let's be honest here. It's totally her fault.
I mean, girl,
why? Listen to Red Hood be like, you need to shoot me. Obviously, he's tricking you. Like, hello.
Like, why do you listen to the villain? No, don't.
You never listen to the villain. It's her emotions were clouding her judgment. I get it. She all of a sudden decided she loved him again. Which, by the way, real quick little gripe here. They're like, let's hook him up to this thing and try to keep his heartbeat slow. So I'm going to take my shirt off and make out with him. That's not going to keep his heartbeat low. What was up with that?
Okay. I wondered.
You're gonna make him.
I wondered if somebody else. I wondered if that was what I thought it was. I thought maybe so maybe something's going on that you haven't, that maybe you've missed, and I was gonna go back through and look again, watch again, and then
crazy.
and then I got like hooked. I got hooked into Starfire and forgot to look back at them. But
we need to keep his heartbeats low. Let's put him on a beta blocker because it's not, the countdown isn't time, it's heartbeats.
Mm-hmm.
Also, let's have the girl he loves make out with him and climb on top of him while he's in bed.
Topless.
That's not gonna make his
topless.
Heartbeats go faster. Of course it is. What are you guys, crazy? I was so mad. I was like yelling at the screen, like, are you kidding me? You're gonna kill him right now. Like, what do you think you're doing?
It's like, didn't you watch that what was that movie? The one where the guy had to, like, had the adrenaline. He had to keep his adrenaline up.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. But I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So I'm like, did you guys see that? There was like a whole thing around it. You know, health class. They talked about, you know, what it takes to keep a heart rate going.
Right. Like, it's just, I was like, are you kidding me? He's yelling and the machine's like, beep, 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 beep. She's making out with him and it's like, fine. I'm like, this is not accurate. This would also make his heart beat faster. Like, especially since he loves her. Like, he's in love with her. And she's finally giving him the time of day again. Of course his heart rate's going to increase. Like, that was so dumb. I was so mad at that part. I thought
this is not okay, sis.
So
I was like, this is not okay, sis. This is not okay. It's not okay. You need to stop.
Yeah, you're going to kill him. Like,
yes.
What are you thinking?
Just stop.
That was crazy to me. So, but anyway, other than that, like, first 3 episodes I think are really strong. I like that we didn't have to wait around to see that Red Hood was Jason. For those who don't know, I like that we were able to already get kind of that. We see him as Robin at the very beginning, and now we're seeing him as Red Hood, and we're seeing already this dynamic of him with Dick. I think the first 3 episodes, besides Starfire, and maybe a little bit of like poor writing during, you know, like the quips, like, these people aren't Spider-Man. They shouldn't be throwing out jokes while they're fighting. I don't like that. I never did like that.
What is that about too? Yeah.
Those are my biggest issues with this. But I think the first 3 episodes of the season are pretty solid and the best of the series so far for me. I don't know. What do you think of them overall?
I think this is the best. This is going to be the best season. Mm-hmm. I think they're still finding their footing. I think that I still think that if we had a more diverse writers' room, I think that a lot of this stuff would be taken care of, because I think a lot of this dumb stuff is stuff that they don't know how to. Okay, dudes, it's okay to say I don't know how to write women, or I don't know how to write black women, or fight scenes, or whatever you want to do. Just say it, you know, with your whole chest, and then they'll get somebody in there. Don't just kind of muddle through. I think that's what's been happening. I think they've been sort of muddling through, finding their way. No, there's plenty of people out there who can get in there, get the job done, so we don't get, you know, okay, finally through season 3 it's good, and now it's canceled because nobody's seen it, you know.
Yep.
Don't cancel it. Okay. Don't. No,
I know it's getting really, really good. I don't want to. It's getting good. It's getting there. It's getting there. Again, we both have a few issues, but I know that's a problem. But it's getting there, and it's getting really good. And Red Hood is just bone chilling, and I love him. And Scarecrow is so good too. So I'm really excited to see the two of them, the dynamic between them as the season goes on, and hopefully we get another Beast Boy, and hopefully Starfire finds her footing, although I'm not super hopeful on that this season. I'm not gonna lie. That's probably going to be my biggest issue through the whole season, probably, if it stays on this course. Which, having seen 6 episodes, it stays on this course so far. So, it's unfortunately.
Okay, what else can we do? I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, that'd be my.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, we should change gears, because I feel like we're repeating. I can just sit here and complain about Starfire the whole time.
Yeah, I was going to go on that tangent too, and I just stopped myself. So, yeah.
I know. Like, we'll just be repetitive, and we've only got about 20 minutes left. So let's talk about another Stargirl. Stargirl kicked off with the first episode last week. Second episode is tonight, so you guys definitely check that out. I think this was a good, solid season premiere. It was. You guys remember what happened last season? Here's kind of where everyone's at right now. This is how everyone's dealing with it, right? Courtney is dealing with it by wanting to be on patrol constantly all the time. Oh, there's bad guys out there, where Yolanda's like, yo, I killed someone, like this isn't okay. She's having issues dealing with that. And they're all kind of in their own headspace. I like that they're giving different ways of people to deal with like PTSD or deal with issues like this, which I think is interesting. But they're keeping it kind of light. You know, they're not going as dark as they probably should, but I get it because it's like a teen show, so they're not gonna they might end up getting darker, I don't know. But then we also see Cindy recruiting for the ISA, and Mike's on that list, which I'm super interested to see what goes there, because listen, if they keep pushing him to the side, like, oh, Mike, just don't worry about it, like, we're doing grown-up stuff, you're creating a villain. It's just like Red Hood, right?
Yes. That's what that's where my mind went to. I'm like, okay, you need to be watching the other channel to see what happened in Jason Todd. You know, right. So
like, I get he's your little brother or he's your son, Pat. Like, understand, but you can't be like, oh, we're doing JSA stuff, you don't worry about it, because he knows about the JSA now. Like, he helped a little bit in that big fight.
Knows, so yeah, he knows. You gotta bring him in. You gotta bring him in because you have no other choice. You have no other choice.
Yeah. It's the reason why he's on Cindy's recruiting. You know, you see her flip through the pictures there at the end, and it's like a couple of people, but Mike, I was like, oh man. And then I thought, okay, I could see her being able to recruit him. If they keep treating him like this, he's going to be like, fine, you don't want me to be part of the JSA? I'll be part of the villains, and I'll take you down. Like, that's what's going to happen. So, don't.
It is so what's going to happen.
I know.
Oh, my gosh, poor kid.
And I love Mike. Like, I think he's great. The actor is funny.
Yeah, poor thing.
I can see it happening, but we'll see what road this goes down. But
yeah, now I'm sad.
He's on her list for a reason, you know.
Dealing villains. Yeah. I mean, you can spot. I mean, I guess you can spot the personality and the environment, and it's like, yeah, that's typical setup for a villain right there. Yep. Let me just bide my time, and then I'll, swoop him up. Yep. Yeah.
And then they show someone who I don't know from the comics. I had to do a little research. But the new villain of the season, we assume anyway, because they set him up right from the start, is this Eclipso with this black diamond who feeds on darkness, right? He convinces that little girl, hey, go to this party and steal this doll. And then he like consumes her because he's like, you're a bad girl. And that was creepy.
It was. I mean, his face.
Yes, the red eyes and the like.
Oh my
I don't know
God,
if it's like decaying.
It was like legit
or
scary. I'm like, this is scary stuff.
Do you know anything about Eclipso from the comics at all?
Not a whole lot. Yeah. At all. I've got to do my research as well.
I've started. Like, I just looked into like what's his power. How does he? Because like. Obviously he's doing something, and like because they don't show the body of the little girl, so I was like, did he like take her over? Does he kill her? The mom just screams. So I was like, what happens when he consumes somebody? Like, what's going on? And then I don't know if you noticed, the name on the mailbox is Dr. Midnight's, the original Dr. Midnight's last name. Yeah, McNider. So I am one, the one who's in the goggles, that Beth has the goggles. And something's up with that. He doesn't like remember her. So this is all so crazy to me.
So is this going to lead up to Moon Knight? No, this is Moon Knight's Marvel.
Moon Knight's Marvel. Yeah. Moon Knight's Marvel.
They have a Dr. Midnight or a Mr. Midnight?
Dr. Midnight. Yeah. It's Dr. Midnight.
Okay, I'm crossing my streams here, guys. Sorry.
I know.
I have Eclipso. Says that Eclipso was originally made to be God's spirit of wrath.
Feels accurate from what we've seen.
Wow, so he's like a fallen angel, maybe?
Oh, they released a poster. If you search, I wonder if I can find it on my phone, but you can probably find it easier. If you search Eclipso Stargirl, they released a poster of what he's going to look like when he takes his form, which we haven't seen yet because he's just like, he took over that little boy or whatever. But if you look at like how he looks pretty crazy. If you just search like Stargirl Eclipso, you'll be able to see. But he's I wonder if I can pull it up on here too. but he was pretty. I was like, man, that's like I'm very intrigued on what they're gonna do.
Oh my gosh, yes, he does look crazy.
Yeah. So.
Well, I mean, he's better than the topless man, who's in the New Earth comics. He's like topless and he has a sword, like a purple cap, purple gloves. He has like a holster for a gun or something, or maybe that's a holster for his sword, and some jeans, and yeah, but he has no shirt at all. For reasons, I guess. I don't know. For
reasons. Who knows why?
But he can like take on. Let me see powers and abilities. Ooh, hell, there's a lot. Energy projection, flight, invulnerability, magic, possession, power distribution, size alteration, superhuman strength, divine empowerment.
See, he's gonna be
so he does everything.
That's what I love. That's awesome. Is that they're setting up for again. I love a good villain. So
they're setting him up to be good. Mm-hmm. Okay, so vulnerability. He's vulnerable to light.
Oh. Yeah. So Stargirl's cosmic staff is like light, gives off light. So I wonder if okay.
Yeah, he has to restrict himself to darkness. And then there's some ancient rules that he has to follow.
Okay.
So he can't. There's ancient laws that dictate, you know, who he kills and how, and stuff like that. So
interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. See, and Cindy's got control of him now. Well, we saw she's got the black diamond there in her possession, so I'm interested. That's not going to be good.
So I think he's attached to that.
Yeah.
But that's also a way that he's attached to the diamond from what I'm seeing. Yeah. But that's also the way that he can possess people. He can attach himself to people. He can, you know, really get at them. It's through the diamond. But his weakness is he's like, I think he's stuck to it. Almost like a genie, maybe?
Yeah, kind of like a genie. That's what it sounds like to me. Mm-hmm. And then we saw at the very end of the episode, we got Green Lantern's daughter showed up at Courtney's house. They had that little tussle. And then she's like, I'm Green Lantern's daughter, or however she said it, which I was like, okay. But it's interesting. So they're like, yes, we're going to give you a new villain, but we're going to give you a new hero in town too, which I found to be smart, right? Give us something new. Again, kind of, this is what happened last season. This is where everyone's headspace is. Mm-hmm. But now we're giving you new people so that we can have a story that grows, you know?
Right.
Which I'm intrigued because I'm not the biggest Green Lantern fan. So I'm interested to see this daughter of, you know?
Yeah.
Show up.
I'm sorry. I'm reading this.
No, you're fine.
It connects like Lois and Superman, Shazam and Captain Marvel, and Lex Luthor, Black Adam.
They all connect, huh?
They all connect.
Okay.
Do you think there's going to be like an overlap crossover thing?
That would be cool.
I don't know. That would be cool. But we're like two separate channels.
I was going to say, we need like the setup though. We need like, give us a little more of Stargirl first. Give us a little more. I mean, Titans is already set, but like, give us enough set. Like Superman and Lois still is just its first season. So give us a little more before you do that. Because again, this is the problem. Sometimes DC jumps into, we're just going to give you all these characters and you don't know them well enough.
Just throw them all in one place.
Right.
And it's like,
exactly.
Figure it out, you guys.
Right. So hopefully,
we'll be back.
But I'd be cool with that. I mean, didn't the Arrowverse have like a giant? Are these people? This is technically Arrowverse, then I guess. But they had like a big crossover event semi-recently. I don't watch
Stargirl
Arrowverse,
is not supposed to be Arrowverse. Okay. I don't think it is. I don't think Stargirl is Arrowverse.
Okay.
Hopefully not. I'm so tired of Arrow. I'm so tired of Arrow. Like it's like stop already. Okay. Stop. I'm done.
Enough.
I'm done. But I think yeah, she is Arrowverse.
She is.
Damn it.
They just haven't connected her really.
Yeah. Yeah, they haven't. And probably this big crossover episode that has everybody in it will do it, but it's not gonna do it well. I don't know how they're gonna get. So with DC, they don't cross the movies well over into, because
No, they
Marvel
don't, no.
crosses everything, goes into everything.
Yep.
DC, there's like a line between the movies and the shows.
Yeah.
That really, and I'm thinking there's gonna be a line between CW and HBO Max.
I know. I mean, I kind of hope they don't do that. Like, if they're gonna try to blend stuff, they need to get everything in there, or it's gonna get confusing.
I'm thinking it's gonna get confusing. I don't see any blending.
I don't know. They don't know what they're doing sometimes when it comes to collaborations. That's what's frustrating. And maybe it's partly because of the writing. I don't know. Because they don't know. It depends. If you have each writer, like, I write for this show, I write for this show, I write for this show, they need to be able to work together to get their characters to interact in a believable way. And if they can't, you end up with trash. Like, let's be honest here. Do you know what I mean? You can't have like we're gonna put all these characters together in the same thing, but like this writer wrote for this one wrote for this one, this one wrote for this one. Then they're not gonna mesh well together. You have to have someone collectively.
You have some overlap.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, wait, no, I was wrong. She's not a part of the Arrowverse.
She's not. Okay.
She's not.
So she's her own thing.
Yeah, there's just a lot of because she came up on CW.
So what did you think of because I know you aren't a giant Stargirl fan, so what did you think of this episode?
I think it was cool. I never could get into her.
Yeah.
I never could get into it. It just seems like it's for the little ones, the little kids, and it's pretty cute.
It's very cute. Teeny, like pre-teeny, like tweeny.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Now, I will say that, now that I've seen Eclipso, that I'm interested now. Because when I it piqued my interest when I saw that face. It's like, okay, who is this now?
See, I saw that released before I started watching this
now?
Season. Which is why I'm like, okay, I'm kind of into this.
Who is this now? Maybe we need to come and visit more often, So yeah. I'll get deeper and dive deeper into it, but I was just kind of like, oh, it's on, it's background noise.
Yeah. No, I get that. And a lot of it is the stuff in the middle is kind of like, whatever. Like, they throw some stuff and they bounce around too much in the story, which is something they do. Like, I want to know, okay, what's going on with this character? Let's go all the way through. Not like, here's this group of people, now this group of people, now we're back to this group of people, and now we're throwing in this other group of people, and you're over here, and you're just like, whoa, it's too convoluted. There's too much going on in an episode where you're like, no, stick with this one thing.
And the next episode, we can go on to those.
And the next episode, do the other thing, right? Which is what I like, the way Titans is doing it. And this one, it just feels like they're trying to throw a little bit of every single character in every single episode, and you don't have to do that. Like, it's not necessary.
You know what? That's probably why the interest is not there, is because they don't give you enough space to become interested in one character story in the episode. So it's like you're bouncing around. Like, first season, I wasn't as invested until 4 or 5 episodes in.
Yeah.
And when you got enough to be like, oh, that's what her character's doing.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, I know exactly what you mean. Yep. I feel the same way.
There's not enough to be invested, I think. I think that's the problem.
It is. It's not the best. But you start to get interested in the people the more, like you said, you have to watch half a season to get their full story. I love Beth. And she finds out, that because I just love how she's always her parents go off to work and she's like, here's breakfast, lunch, and dinner that I made you. She's so sweet. I love her. And I think it's episode 1. I don't want to say it. If it's, she finds out that she finds the divorce papers, right? And so she's really upset. It's very brief. But then that's the thing. She finds the divorce papers. It's super brief. They don't mention it. And you're just like, okay, I want more of this. Can you talk about that? And you got to wait several episodes for them to bring it back around. And you're like, but I was invested in that part of the story.
By the time he comes back, it's like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. And Yolanda dealing with, she's like, I killed someone. I still hear the sound when he died. And then they don't talk about her for 2 episodes. And you're like, whoa, she's dealing with something. She's having serious problem.
She'll be okay.
Right. Can we dig into this a little more?
Nah, she'll be okay.
I think that's them trying to make it not as dark. and not go full dark like Titans, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it feels a little like we said for tweens and teens, and you're kind of like, okay, but like, yeah, she literally killed someone. She should be dealing with something pretty intense right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So let's see it.
And y'all should be helping her out. Like, this is not cool what she's going through. Like, this is not what's supposed to happen, y'all. It's not what's supposed to happen.
I mean, they're kids. They are kids. They are teenagers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they're what? Like, I think they're in their sophomore, junior year. So they're what? 16 years old, maybe 17 years old. 15, 16.
Yeah. Sophomore is like 10th grade. Yeah. 15, 16.
And they're killing someone. Yeah, they're going to have some issues that they're going to have to deal with.
They're going to feel some kind of way, you know? Oh, my gosh.
But good first episode of the season. Good introduction of Eclipso. They just need to start focusing on one thing per episode instead of 10 things per episode.
One problem at a time, people. One problem at a time. Yeah, the characters are good, though.
The characters are fun. Like, they're good.
They are. Yeah.
Courtney's a little too bubbly for me. I don't know why she's always like fine. Like eventually she's gonna have to break down, I think. But yeah.
But you're the villain person though. You want to see people break down.
Exactly. Well, it's the same. It's the reason why I'm not a giant fan of like Justice League, because they feel too like happy all the time to me. Although then we got Zack Snyder's Justice League and we finally got some brooding, which I was happy about. But I just feel like, you know, it's like the Metropolis. Like, that's why I prefer Gotham. I always prefer Gotham over Metropolis because it feels more dark and gritty and villainous.
Yes.
Ominous.
Like what they're supposed to be, right?
Right. Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
Villains are not supposed to be happy people. I mean, because they didn't get there like in happy ways usually, you know?
Yeah.
Just like we saw, you know, going back to Suicide Squad, Polka Dot Man, you know, his mom experimented on him and made him this way. He's not a happy guy.
Right, exactly. Yes. No, you're exactly right. Exactly
so
right.
So I really appreciate that. I do. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're running out of time here. So next week, we actually get to see each other this weekend in person, which is super fun. So we're going to be filming some special stuff for you guys. We're going to be checking out Avengers Campus. So either next week or the week after, we'll be showing you some footage from that. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be super fun. We've also got Shang-Chi embargo breaks next week. So I may give, and Jonita, if you get to watch it as well, we'll give our little initial thoughts on it. But definitely we'll be talking more about that come September when it comes out on September 3rd. We've got the next episode of Titans this week. We've got the next episode of Stargirl tonight. So we got lots of stuff to talk about next week. And really for the next, and what if? That's right. We got the next episode. It's a big episode.
The best episode. The best of
the three by far.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the T'Challa episode. It's a little heartbreaking. It's hard to get through because it is Chadwick. And, and some of the words that he says, I don't want to talk about it because I'll cry again.
Yeah. So, trigger warning. Trigger warning. If you're still grieving, it's going to be a lot for you. So
and the things that he says, the words that he speaks are,
I mean,
feels like honoring Chadwick.
Yes. The whole episode. I mean, because like just the whole episode because everything you'll
see when you see
all the ripples.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
It's so good. It's so good. So that's this week. You guys don't want to miss that. That drops on Disney Plus. So we've got a lot of great, I mean, over a month, we're going to have Stargirl, What If, and Titans every single week. So lots and lots and lots of stuff to cover here. So stay tuned. We might be having some more cast members from Titans or maybe Stargirl, who knows, coming on the show. We would love to get, I mean, Karan was already like, I want to come back later. We're like, please, anytime you want, you're more than welcome. Wear the helmet. You're cool.
Bring Anna with you.
Yes,
Anna Diop, we want her.
Yes.
And then Jimmy and Amanda about Harley, remember?
Yes, I know. Because that was, the Suicide Squad Harley was totally their Harley. And I even saw them tweeting about that as well, with Jimmy tweeting about it as well.
Totally. Yeah.
Totally was. So, all right. So we'll be back next Tuesday, 11 a.m. Another pre-recorded show, but we'll have some really good stuff for you guys because we'll be on a plane heading home from seeing each other from the Hollywood Critics Association TV Awards that go on that weekend. So, so stay tuned. Tons of stuff coming up. But we aren't the only show here. So make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when we are live. Mm-hmm. What other shows do we have on here?
I am not prepared for that question.
You're not? You're usually so prepared.
I know, I'm right on it. I'm right on top of it. Usually I was not prepared. I'm like, oh yeah, this is a great, we have other shows, and it's like, oh, that's your part right there. See, the Tuesday thing got me. It's right.
It's not. We're recording Tuesday this today, the day before. It doesn't feel not like Tuesday. We're
okay. So, we have other shows.
Yes.
Pop Council on Mondays, hosted by Jamie Philbrick and Wendy Lee Zaney. Hollywood Approved Wednesdays by Kristen Maldonado and Yael Taijo. What to Stream Thursdays, hosted by Morgan Rojas and Lupe Rodriguez Haas. Trending in Hollywood Fridays, hosted by Steve Menzel and Dimitri Panos. Horrifically Horrifying, hosted by Heather Wixon and Kevin Taft.
Perfect. Yes. See, there's lots of stuff here. No matter what you like, you're going to find something. And my name is Tessa Smith. You can find me everywhere at Mama's Geeky, as well as at mamasgeeky.com.
And I'm Jonita Davis. You can find me at Jonita L. Davis everywhere, or at the Black Cape.
Awesome. Well, we'll see you guys soon.